The euro currency sees a move higher to start the week, something we didn't see last week. Last week, we saw the euro trade down to 9-month lows, all the way sub 117 handle, taking a step back at the month of August. We started north of 119. We pretty much spent the last 3 weeks trading constantly lower, getting us all the way down south of 117 on Thursday and Friday. That would be a 9-month low, lowest we've seen since November of last year. That would kind of line up nicely with the US presidential election. But we did see a big bounce today. The dollar obviously was the key to that. Dollar turned and headed south. That pushed the euro higher. We did get some intermittent economic data, some PMI numbers, but those were pretty much, I think, moving to the side here. Those are not going to be the focus. The real focus this week is going to be on the Jackson Hole Symposium. What will Fed Chair Powell say? Clearly, the market had expectations that the Fed was going to announce some kind of shift in their accommodative policy, perhaps talking about tapering, putting some dates on when the Fed would actually start to make a move. That seems to have gone by the wayside. Maybe the market now anticipating them not to be as specific and maybe be a little more vague is probably the best term to use. But certainly having an adverse effect on the dollar, and we're seeing the euro rally here as well. So again, moving south of 117 late last week, now we're seeing it well up towards 117.5. All that bounce comes ahead of the Jackson Hole Symposium on Friday. Now, what does this mean for volatility? Well, if you check out that CVOL index over at cmegroup.com, you will notice that volatility has moved higher as prices have moved higher. All throughout the month, we've seen volatility decline with prices. Obviously making a very clear trend, but as we start to get into that no man's land, those levels we haven't traded in a long time, say 9 months, volatility does tend to bid, but we reversed higher, so a lot of this may be contingent on the fact that we did break the trend. However, there is some event risk out there with the Jackson Hole Symposium looming, and many central bankers, not just the Fed chair, will be speaking, so a lot of different ideas being talked about. Clearly the market taking a bit of a defensive stance here, I think, at this point, seeing volatility tick higher ahead of the symposium on Friday. Now, lastly, let's talk about positioning. What are the speculators doing? Well, as the market had been declining, speculators had been exiting, but they saw a big add of longs middle of last week. It'll be interesting to see if they continue to add as we hit the new lows, but clearly speculators can sometimes be a canary in the coal mine, the first in, first out type of positioning. Clearly, they are putting on a big bet here that the euro will rally or that the dollar will decline. Maybe, again, taking a lead from some of those expectations being a little bit overbought, that the Fed would be more active or at least more hawkish in their tone on Friday's Jackson Hole Symposium testimony from the Federal Reserve Chairman. But ultimately, we'll have to wait and see. So at this point, seeing a big reversal from what we've seen in the trend throughout the month of August, the euro back up north of 117.5, with Jackson Hole looming on Friday.